In numismatics, it's easy to get caught up in the big-name coins, the million-dollar auctions, the sought-after key dates, even the ever-popular Morgan dollars. And when you're on a budget, it can start to feel like you don't have the resources to collect. But there's always a way. If you're a student without much money to spare, like me, or just going through a tight spot, there are plenty of options to keep collecting without breaking the bank. A series doesn't have to be old to be collectible, so why not try to put together a full set of a circulating coin? You're likely to find the widest range of dates for Jefferson nickels. The series doesn't have any show-stopping key dates, meaning that with enough time and dedication, you're likely to be able to fill a good chunk of an album just by searching through rolls and pocket change. If nickels aren't your thing, you could go for memorial cents from 1959 to 2008, or clad dimes or quarters, both from 1965 on. Of course, the National Park and State quarters are always options as well. You can usually find old Whitman folders for any of these sets for a couple bucks at coin shops. Coin roll hunting is another aspect of collecting that many enjoy. The basic premise is exactly as it sounds. You get a large quantity of whichever coin you're interested in from the bank, then search through them. Maybe you just look for certain dates to fill an album, or maybe you hunt for silver dimes and quarters. Once you've gone through them all, just return them to the bank and get more. While you're at it, you can also search for varieties and errors. Just pick a circulating series, do some research, and create a list of varieties to look for. There are varieties to be found in all denominations, many of which are fairly valuable, so you've got plenty of options. A magnifier or microscope is necessary to identify a lot of them. You probably already have a magnifying glass or loupe, or you can find USB microscopes pretty cheap if you want something a little more high-tech. Another place to look are Coinstar machines. They commonly reject foreign and old US coins, and people tend to leave those in the return tray. Whenever you happen to find a Coinstar, dip your hand in. Maybe you'll get lucky. Finally, here's an off-the-wall idea: social media. There are large communities of coin collectors on both Facebook and Instagram. It's a great way to keep yourself interested and learning new things just by scrolling through everyone's posts, and if you're lucky, you might win a few giveaways. A lot of people also trade over Instagram, so if you have some extra coins you're willing to let go of, you might be able to get some cool new pieces for just the price of postage. $25 gives you a few more options. My personal favorite is Canadian cents. Canada started minting small cents in 1920, and they stopped releasing them altogether in 2012. They don't have mint marks like American coins do, so you can, for the most part, look for one per year and consider your set done. The main exception is 1947. Some have a small maple leaf by the date and others don't. If you want to go a little more in-depth, there are plenty of minor varieties to look for. The reverse changed in 1937, and you may not find many of the old designs searching through rolls. Your best bet for those might be going through bargain bins at coin shows or flea markets. However, if you don't want to risk being left with a bunch of empty holes, just start your set with the new reverse. You may be hard-pressed to find a cheap folder for these at your local coin store, but any US cent album will fit. There's nothing to stop you from getting a different album and relabeling it, or a blank US cent folder. If you can spring a few extra bucks, Whitman sells 2 folders that span the full series for about $4 each. If American coins are more up your alley, a run of wheat cents from 1940 to 1958 is an option. It might be a challenge to get the whole set for under $25, but it's possible. You can get rolls on eBay that only include the 40s and 50s, or buy mixed dates by the pound. Chances are you'll get quite a few from after 1940. $50 may not feel like much, but there's a world of possibilities. For example, world coins. They're generally pretty cheap, and there are so many different ways to collect them. You could try to get one from every country on a continent, or go for a themed set of odd shapes and denominations. The sky's the limit. Buying these in person at a coin shop or a show is likely to be your best bet. Buying single coins from eBay isn't the most economical thanks to shipping costs, but dealers tend to sell foreign coins at very low prices. If you'd rather have a set with more structure, you could piece together a type set from another country. Canada or Mexico are probably your most accessible options, but pick whatever interests you the most. Do steer clear of obligating yourself to find large silver coins. They get expensive much faster than base metal denominations. For example, if you opt for Canada, cut yourself off at the dime or quarter. Consider limiting your dates as well, such as only focusing on 20th century coins. The biggest problem with anything foreign is that it's almost impossible to find affordable folders or albums for them, so you might have to settle for labeled flips in a binder. Another aspect of coin collecting that a lot of people never dive into is ancient coins. The most economical option is to buy them encrusted with dirt, clean them, and identify them yourself. Be sure to do some research about how to clean them, but it can be as simple as soaking them in distilled water. You can get uncleaned ancient Roman coins surprisingly cheap, $1 or $2 a piece if you search hard enough. However, if you just buy the cheapest ones you can find, you're likely to end up with a lot of unidentifiable lumps of copper. You want to be able to see some detail underneath the dirt. With these, the knowledge barrier is the hardest part. It's impossible to even know what you're looking at first or what questions you need to ask. For example, what is this? My initial interpretation was a phone booth with letters, which was obviously wrong. Turns out it was an altar, but this is also an altar. Ancient coins can be frustrating, but if you're up for a challenge and quite a few history lessons, it's definitely something you should try. A lot of these ideas can grow with you if you end up with a bigger budget later on. You could change your wheat set to start at 1909, collect coins from all countries instead of one continent, or spring for some higher value ancients. Regardless, always remember that coin collecting doesn't have to be a $1,000 investment. In fact, the best parts of it are just fun. It's usually how people got into the hobby, stumbling on an old coin and change, finding one from Russia and thinking it was cool. That's what's at the very root of the hobby, and if you have fun building it, every collection is valuable.